Grim Reaper finally caught up with you, didn't he, Dad? You sure fooled me. I thought they'd have to drive a stake through your heart. I wish I could feel something, Pa. I wish we'd talk more. It's no fair now because you're not here to yell back at me. And I was never any good at a one-sided argument. I wish.
What do you wish, Sean?
Oh, you snuck up on us, Bridget. You know, he and I never really had a hell of a lot to say to each other. We talked more at than with each other. The man was like a wall, Bridget. And I always had the feeling he was going to fall on me someday. Instead, he just sort of came at me one brick at a time.
And you threw the bricks back at everything but him.
Well, don't you see, he never quite understood the things I was attacking.
Probably because you kept changing them like coats. But he understood you.
Maybe so, I don't know. He was full of surprises, huh? Like at bail after the mix-up in Chicago. I wouldn't have known that was from him if you hadn't told me.
Well, there hasn't been much communication in the past couple of years.
Yeah, in his words, he was waiting for me to get over my growth period.
And what are you going to do when you grow up?
Be anything but like him.
It's funny.
What do you mean?
You're working so hard to get rid of him. And I'm still trying to find him.
Is it going out again tonight? Yeah, Bridget.
Yes, Daddy, but I won't be late.
I'll make sure you're not. Last night it was past 2.
It's a big girl I am now, Daddy. In time, I'm living my own life.
Which one is it tonight? Sure, and I'll have to be giving them numbers. There's so many.
It's Arthur, Daddy. You'd love him. He's a great fellow.
You tell me so. Well, and why doesn't the great one come around to visit your old man?
Because he's, well, different. Kind of independent, Daddy. A little like you.
Who is it this time, Biddy?
Jim?
Why didn't you tell me he was married before?
Because I knew you wouldn't understand.
What does he do?
Doctor.
Whatever is it you're looking for in all the different ones? I can't keep up with you.
I'll never understand why so many others loved and respected him when I couldn't even get to know him.
I'll never understand why a kid of mine, with your brains and all, could never stay in anyone's school.
The teachers bug me, Dad.
Oh, so it's easier to walk out, is it? And head for the nearest pool hall. Pretty soon you'll be running out of teachers that bug you. Why don't you give the world a try? It's not so bad, you
Why
know.
don't you give me a try, Dad? Why do you always take the other guy's side?
5 schools, 4 jobs. Oh, everybody's wrong but Sean. You can't keep running, lad. Whenever was it you decided that the whole world was against you?
Oh, don't you see?
I don't remember reading about a conspiracy against Sean McNulty.
You always had the last word, didn't you, Pa?
You feel that way too, don't you? Aggie said Father McLean called and wondered if one of us could say a few words at the cemetery.
Is number 1 son here yet? Maybe between the 4 of us, we can think of something nice to say.
Aggie's fixing him a drink.
Ah, good old St. Agnes. She should move in with Matt. She'll need someone to look after now that the old man's gone. It's part of her purgatory on Earth plan.
Some mothers and fathers are good and loving and gracious, and others are hung up, frightened, and tyrannical, and most are somewhere in between. But whether good or bad or in between, they're ours. We're part of them, they're part of us. There's no getting away from that. nor is there any denying the extent of their influence upon us. They shape our whole approach to life. They mold our psyches, they influence our values. Whether dead or alive, they continue to live within us, which means we have to learn to deal with them. If we expect them to be perfect like God, we're certainly going to be disappointed, and we'll probably end up fighting with them and blaming them for our shortcomings. If, on the other hand, we accept them for what they are, fallible human beings like ourselves, then we'll be able to enter into a loving relationship with them and go on to live our own independent lives.
Here's to Johnny Kunkapod. Have mercy on him, God, as he would do if he were God and you were Johnny Kunkapod.
Please don't, Matt.
Come on, Aggie. There's nothing to worry about. He's not about to be leaping out of the coffin and come flying in here with his eyes afire.
Aren't you going to go in and take a last look?
Why not? At least he won't be staring back at me. I won't have to look at those eyes anymore. Look at him, the great stone face. Probably just got through telling the photographer how to do his work.
Come along now. Straighten your tie. It's time for church.
Right, Pa, sure. Pa, I got in a fight. Billy Hennigan gave me a bloody nose.
Well, don't come running home every time you get a bloody nose. You got to learn to take care of yourself. You're a McNulty. You remember that.
How am I doing, Pa? Look at those grades. Pretty good, huh?
Not bad. But you could do better. I expect straight A's from you.
Not bad. Okay. Pretty fair. It was never great. Great, Matthew, my son. Give me a refill, will you, Aggie?
Don't you think you've had enough, Matt?
Good God, you've been living with him for too long. Don't you think you've had enough, Matt? You've been hitting the gargle pretty hard, Matt. He drank as hard as anyone I know. Here.
But he paced himself. Father McGlynn wanted one of us to call. He thought one of us could speak a few words at the cemetery.
A couple more of these, I'd be afraid I'd speak the truth at graveside. Trouble with the old man's he was like a tree, like an oak tree that wouldn't bend.
And you spent the better part of your adult life trying to chop him down.
Maybe you should have taken a few chops. Take a look at yourself, Aggie. You never gave him anything back for all those orders, and what's it left you? I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Aggie. That wasn't necessary. Here, build me a fresh one. I'll make this short.
Atta girl. Fix yourself up, Agnes. Now, why don't you go out? I'll be all right alone tonight.
That's okay, Pop. I just as soon stay at home.
I don't understand.
What, Pop?
You drive better than most men. You know more about football and baseball than most men I know. I'll tell you the secret.
What, Pop?
You've got to make them think they know more than you.
Oh, I'm no good at those games, Dad.
What's for supper, Agnes? It sure smells good.
Lamb stew, Pop.
Oh. Are you going out tonight, Agnes?
Uh-huh.
I thought we could play cards. Who's the fellow?
His name is Joe Rodriguez, Pop. He's a real nice fella.
Rodriguez? That's a wetback name, isn't it?
He's Spanish, Father. Really.
Oh.
He's a nice guy.
Well, does this Spanish fella know how to play cards now?
Well, if he doesn't, we can teach him. Right, Pop?
Right.
Wrong, Pop. Wrong.
Doesn't he look natural?
He'd look more natural if he were sitting up in his undershirt in that old wingback chair and snoring.
Right.
You never met half the fellows I dated because he'd be sleeping in that chair when they'd come to get me.
And the ones he did meet, he trimmed so bad at poker, they never wanted to show their faces around here again.
Yeah, he had to win at everything, didn't he?
Yeah, but you finally beat him, though, didn't you, old fella?
What?
You drove him out of his own company.
I told you that's an automatic retirement rule.
Yeah, but it wasn't his idea, was it?
He offered you a job and you didn't take it, so it's none of your damn business.
This isn't the time or the place.
What better place? Those kinds of cracks started right under this roof as soon as you were old enough to open your mouth.
You forgot to wear him, didn't you, big shot?
What are you talking about?
Oh, we're closing the old man's coffin today. I thought you'd be wearing your dancing shoes.
Stop it, both of you. Now, Sean, go see Aggie. She shouldn't be alone in there.
Yeah, we can be alone in there together.
Fast man with the words. I put shoes on you often enough, Mr. Trotsky.
Oh, come on, Matt. He's just trying to get to you.
Well, it worked. He got to me. He and the old man, they both knew how to get to me. Just like a tree that wouldn't bend.
It's funny, I never thought of him like that. To me, you always had the strength of a sword. I was always looking for somebody as strong.
I never stopped trying to top him at his own game. I never stopped doing the things he wanted. But it wasn't enough. It was Junior there who always got the praise.
Oh, no, that's not true, Matt. Dad always was admiring your drive. I think he was waiting for you to do something you really wanted.
It was as if Sean were doing all the wild, reckless things Dad never had time for. He was too busy building the McNulty empire. Here, look at these clippings. Sean McNulty strikes out at school administration. McNulty leads student revolt. I'd have papers for Dad to sign. I remember the Burke deal. It sat on his desk for 2 or 3 days. He'd be flipping through these things.
Sean's a lot more like Dad than he'd admit.
I'd say, Pa, the Burke deal. We've got to file these papers this afternoon. He'd say, Matt, that's the trouble with you. You're all business. You ought to be more like your brother. Break loose in the mold once in a while. If I'd cut loose, he'd have been eaten alive by the board of directors.
What do you think?
I don't know. I'm thinking I never found out what he wanted from me.
I'm thinking, unlike you, I wasn't competing.
Thinking I need another drink, Biddy.
I was looking for him. In 4 husbands, 4 times at bat, and 4 strikeouts. Maybe I should have learned to play baseball like Aggie.
So you could wind up going to ball games with the old man? She might as well have been in a prison.
Oh, boy, there are all kinds of prisons.
You ever hear of one called McNulty and Son?
God, he did a job on all of us, didn't he?
You know, I read somewhere the reason Christ had no hang-ups is he had the perfect father, and he picked his own mother. I don't know. Maybe we're all looking for too much God in our own father. What'll it be, Pa? Wild colonial boy? There was a wild colonial boy, Jack Duggan was his name. He was born and bred in Ireland, in a place called Castlemaine. He was his father's only pride.
Oh, Matt, that was one of our best pieces of crystal.
Ah, don't worry about it, Ag. Big Brother will buy you a whole new set of crystal. He's the man of the house now.
You got a big mouth.
Big Brother will take care of everybody, just like he took care of the old man. You killed him, you know.
What are you talking about?
Come on, knock it off.
No, I want to know what he meant by
You know
that.
damn well what I meant by that. That company was all he had to live for, and you drove him out of it.
Well, where the hell were you? I was always with him. For God's sake, I gave up a law practice, a wife, and 3 kids for that damn business.
He never asked either of you to give up anything for him.
You know, you're not the only one around here with a franchise on self-sacrifice, kid. Martyrdom should be shared to be enjoyed.
While you were bouncing from school to school, I saved his hide from those vultures on the board.
Oh, no, I don't want to hear any more.
He didn't even ask me for help. I had to round up the proxies secretly to keep him in office. He thought he did it all himself.
Of course, it wouldn't have been your style to let the others do it. You had to finish a knife job yourself.
I told you that was automatic retirement.
I know.
Oh, come on, Matt. Don't make excuses. I was here. You were never satisfied unless you were running the whole show.
Better than you ran your 4 marriages. No wonder they left you. You can't keep your own mouth shut.
She had plenty of competition from you, brother.
You couldn't even hold down a summer job at the plant without disrupting
The
everything.
conditions there were lousy for everyone, and you know it.
Yeah, so you organized a strike against your
Yes,
old man and
well,
me, your
organized
brother.
a strike against God himself.
Stop it! In God's name, stop it! He's dead now. You can't kill him again.
At least let's finish the bout in the other room.
You think he's listening?
I don't know. He always liked a good fight. It's too bad he isn't here to join in.
You want to say anything at graveside?
What the hell was it inside his soul? It was as though he reached inside and twisted the machinery up. Maybe Biddy can think of something nice to say.
Yeah, it might be easier for her. She never got half the beatings I got.
Yeah, it's funny. He never laid a hand to her, and she'd given him guff from the time she could talk. He used to call a day like this a good rope day.
You know, I never knew what he meant by that.
Oh. Well, on days like today, a Dutchman would be so depressed that he's liable to take a rope down in the cellar and hang himself.
Yeah, a Dutchman being anyone who wasn't Irish.
Right.
I remember him once saying, "It's the kind of a day an Irishman is very near to crying." Oh.
Sorry about the crystal, Aggie.
Ah, it's forgotten.
You know, you're most like Mom. I think that's why he made you stay around.
No, I chose it. He never made any of us do anything. We all did what we thought he wanted us to do. Don't you see? You were so busy trying to second-guess him. You never marched to your own drum. You figured he wanted you in with him, but it never really mattered to him.
You saw him different from the rest of us, didn't you?
Why the hell was it? Why did he hit me so often? I just seemed to rub him the wrong way from the start. You know what? I had a feeling he blames me for Mom's death.
Oh, no.
No, why should I, a newborn hellion, live and she, the love of his life, to go?
A lot of that was your thinking.
He never stopped talking about you after you left. I kept trying to do things to get him to notice me. I didn't so much want to be like him, I just wanted to like him.
Well, why don't you say that at graveside, Matt?
What's so funny?
Oh, we're some foursome, huh? Each of us wanted something from him we couldn't get. He knew our soft spots, and he worked on them. Some people would call that character training. Why did you stay and take it, Ag? After all, he never did anything for you but give you orders. Why didn't you get married?
You know, he'd ask that. Aggie, why don't you go out and find yourself a nice fella and settle down? I had my chance with Jack Arliss. But he was an artist, a dreamer, and Dad could never see that much in a man. It was easier living with a known quantity than taking a chance on an unknown.
No, you're wrong there. There was more of the artist and dreamer in Dad than you thought. I think that's what he saw in Sean here. He always expected great things from you someday.
Why didn't he tell me that instead of you?
Because it was always easier for him at a distance.
We're like the 4 blind people describing the elephant. To you, Shawnee was a wall. To Bridge, that sword of power and strength. And to Matt...
Tree that wouldn't bend.
Yeah.
What about you, Aggie?
Oh, I felt the elephant's tail and I thought it was a rope. He used to pull me around, huh? No. I didn't need much pulling. Just a little affection and someone to care for.
So you settled for half a life when you could have had more. I could have lent you one of my husbands. I'm sorry, it was a bad joke.
Yeah.
So we each got what we wanted. I got the business and I paid the price of Madge and the kids. But the old man gave me the business.
And I with 3 husbands.
I thought it was 4, Bridget.
Well, after 3, I wised up. didn't bother going through with the ceremony. Yeah. After I left them, I couldn't come back home to... I didn't want to end up like...
Like me, huh?
No, Ag, I'm sorry. I didn't mean that.
Oh. Oh, you'd have given him what he wanted, Bridge. A good argument. He could never get a rise out of me. You were the only one who'd give him what he wanted. A good stiff fight.
Well, where the guts you used to have, Ag? Hell, I remember when you were younger, we used to fight for the car. You were stronger than any 6 guys, Ag. What happened?
That's me, Aggie McNulty, the barefoot wonder of the Beaconsfield 9. Oh, I used what I had. I wasn't sexy like Bridge. I wasn't, and I never learned the art of holding a man with my sparkling conversation.
Ag.
I did what I could. Drive better, hit a ball farther, and strike out better than any man I know.
There's some self-pity by the ounce here, Agnes, if you want to
Oh,
join.
Matt, will you
You
stop?
lay off her.
Who are you to push me
Who the
around?
hell are you to push her
Stop it,
around?
Earl!
I'll tell Daddy on you.
Boy, there's a rare one. All of us smiling. Who's the kid with the funny haircut?
Oh, that was Rudy Matusik. Remember him? Oh, he had a crush on Bridge.
My God, the Matusiks.
Yeah.
We made fun of that family because they talked different. I remember how they laughed and cried together.
They didn't have much money, but oh, they sure knew how to have fun together. I envied them.
Why?
I wanted to live with them.
Oh, Bridge.
Hey, didn't old man Matusik work at the railroad?
Sure, he used to bring home a load of lumber from the railroad yard all
I
the
think
time.
he stole it.
Next thing you knew, they were all out in the backyard building some kind of a cockeyed clubhouse or whatever. That's funny. You know what? I used to stand over in our yard and wish I was one of them, too. Why the hell was that?
Oh, whatever happened to the Matusiks?
Whatever happened to us?
Good Lord, remember the thrashing I got for that? I actually thought I was helping the old man. Heard him talking about tearing down the old garage, so I took your BB gun and shot out all the windows. Damn near killed me.
Oh, look, there's a picture of Yanko with Dad. Remember Crazy Yanko?
Sure, he's the one that used to pull the sled loaded with junk in the summertime, right?
And that wagon with 4 different size wheels.
Him a winner. He used to smoke Dad's those cigar butts in his corn cob.
Oh, brother, what a stink!
Oh. Yeah, Yanko was the first one in after Dad was laid off.
Really?
Yeah. He came in and fell across the coffin and he said, "Who's going to take care of me now? Now that the chief is dead."
There sure was a mixture of people floating through here the last few days. High shooters mixed with the bums and freeloaders who used to hit the old man for a handout.
Yeah.
Remember Blind Ollie used to sell pencils in front of the plant?
Sure, Dad used to call him the lumber salesman.
Oh,
Hey, Matt, did Maria stop by? I always thought that there was something going on between Maria and Daddy.
If there was, we killed it. After Mom died, we discouraged every woman he was ever interested in. I guess we put the blocks to more than a few things in his life, didn't we? Maybe I shouldn't say we. I did.
Oh, we all did. If there was anything between Dad and Maria, we all killed it.
I've been trying to think of something good to say about him. It'd be a start if I could think of something good to say about us. Never could hold this stuff like the old man. You're a better drinker than I am, Gunga Din. With one kidney gone, you could still drink me under the table.
Hey, there's our first car, Ag, remember?
Yeah.
Before and after. I learned the hard way. I was always too proud to ask older brother for help.
Maybe it was because you were too proud to give it to him graciously. I'm sorry. Shouldn't take off after you like that, Matt. It's just that we were all too proud to lean on each other like a family should. We never asked for love from one another, ever. It wasn't him, was it? Was it? It was us.
But he taught us. It was his... Oh, God, I miss him. I love him.
I can't believe my eyes. Honest to God, tears for the old man. I never thought.
You tell me, what are we all so ashamed of? Are we all cripples? We're all a part of that man in there, for bad or for good. The four of us don't add up to him.
When your mother died, I wanted to die too. But I had you four. You four little birds. And I've got to teach you to fly. Now, it's one of those things you don't get too many cracks at. You've got to learn the first couple of times out of the nest. And if you break your wings, you'll be left on the ground. And they'll eat you up. They'll eat you alive. All you've got is the family. So stay close to each other.
Stay close to each other. That's all he wanted. And look at the four of us, ripping and tearing at each other before he's even in the ground. Oh, it's sad birds with broken wings. Oh.
He put that wallpaper up, didn't he, Ag?
Oh, yeah. About a year ago. It was just a couple months after he broke his hip. I couldn't stop him, and he wanted to get up and do something.
There was no stopping him. 2 months ago, he filled out an application for a real estate salesman's test. 72. All the money he needed, and he's going to start all over again.
I'm ready for the boneyard, and he wanted to start all over again. The old
Elephant.
Yeah, elephant.
Why, all these years of trying to put the elephant together. All those years of trying to get his attention by throwing rocks and breaking windows. Well, you can't knock an elephant over with a rock, can you?
Here's to the 4 parts of the elephant. What's left of them. Oh, God help me, I'm all out of arguments.
Dude, that'll be the day.
All right, there's still a few left in me for family reunions.
Hello. Oh, yes, Father. Just a moment. It's Father McLean.
I'll talk to him. Hello, Father. This is Matt speaking. Yeah, we're fine, fine. Agnes gave me your message. I'm sorry I didn't get back to you sooner. I'd be happy to say a few words at the cemetery.
Matt?
As a matter of fact, all 4 of us have a few kind words to say about the old elephant. That's right, Father, I said elephant. Well, you remember the story about the 4 blind men who were trying to describe an elephant?
Insight is a production of the Paulist Fathers, a group of Catholic priests who serve their God by serving those outside their church.